when it comes to being a bride, when you're saying yes to being a bride, you're saying yes to fully give yourself over to this person, right? As the bride, you're saying yes to fully giving yourself over to this man, right? For us, it's Jesus. And one of the words, you don't have to play anymore, thank you. One of the words that the Lord began to speak about is the word commitment, right? When you're getting ready to marry someone, you're making a commitment to that person. What does commitment mean? It's the quality or state of being dedicated to a cause, activity, or individual. Say, it's the state of being dedicated. Okay, I didn't hear everybody. Say, it's the state of being dedicated to a person. Okay. Commitment is an agreement or a pledge to do something. So when you're saying, you know, we have like the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff, but you're giving a pledge, an agreement to say that I'm going to give myself over to you, right? It's a promise or a firm decision to do something. A firm decision. It's not a wavering decision. It's not I got 1 foot in and 1 foot out decision, but it's a firm. That means both my feet are planted in this. Yes. And it's a promise to be loyal to that person. And one of the things that the Lord was talking about as it pertains to his bride and what he desires. Well, I guess we are going this way. One of the things that he's saying that he desires is the commitment of his bride. That we would not be 1 foot in and 1 foot out like this. Like, oh yeah, I do. You can barely stand on 1 foot. You need both feet on the ground. And he's looking for, you know, they say boots on the ground, but he's looking for both feet to be planted on the ground in a yes. That means I give myself fully over to you. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to change paths. My yes is my yes. My yes is my yes. Let your yes be your yes. Let your yes be your yes. Just say that. Let my yes be my yes. Commitment. 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 Thank you, Holy Spirit. The bridal call is where we are. And one of the ways that we prepare, I'm just going to put this right here. Let's go to John 15. I believe that this is one of the passages for the hour. Before we begin to read that, what I was sharing about the rest, in the Song of Solomon, she asks him, like, because she hasn't taken care of her vineyard, and she's like, Tell me, you whom my soul love, where you pasture your flock. For why should I veil myself? Um, like in some versions it says, like the prostitutes do. Like they veil themselves. Why should I veil myself? And when you look at that passage, and she asks him where he rests at noon, that word pasture, to tend, to graze, to associate with as a friend, a companion, to keep company with, to make friendship with. So she's asking him, where does she go to have this companionship, to have this intimacy, to have this friendship? Communion, right? As a bride, we're called into friendship. We're called into that place of, I would hope the person that we're marrying we're friends with, you know? It would be bad if we don't know them, you know? It's real quiet. Okay. So she's asking him, where is this place where she can have this companionship, where she can have this friendship, where they rest at noon? And what the Lord began to say was that place of rest, that place of finished work is that place of friendship. That place of rest, that place of the finished work is that place of communion and friendship. And a lot of times when we're weary, when we're tired, we need rest. The rest that God is actually talking about is the rest of companionship, is the rest of communion. And so yesterday, I was under the weather, and Tim is like, oh, do you need me to get anything? And I'm like, yeah, some ginger. And as I'm saying ginger, the Lord is saying rest. I'm like, okay. And so I sat there and I said, well, what is rest? He said, it's the finished work. What is the finished work? It's that place where I can come into intimacy with Jesus. I can come into intimacy with him, and nothing else, right, is in the way. I did all my work for the week, right? Did all of that. Now I need to come into the place of just communing with him. What your soul needs is communion. Look at somebody. Say, what your soul needs is communion. And a lot of times, as the bride, right, we do all the stuff, but the commitment that is lacking is the communion. Right? This is where he deals with the issues of the soul. This is where he cleans us. This is where, you know, I love you, you love me, I love you back. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're gorgeous. Oh, you're gorgeous. Oh, you're wonderful. You're so amazing. This is where that interchange happens. And to be honest, we need more of it. And so even as a bride is preparing to be married, right, she's still having to go into this dialogue, go into this communion with the person that she's going to get married to. There has to be constant communication, right? You can't get married and have no communication at all. Right? And so there's constant communication. There's counseling that happens in the marriage, leading up to marriage, right? Because not only are you giving yourself away, but now you're also becoming one with another person. And so with becoming one with another person, there's things that I have to give up, right? There's things that I have to give up, and there's things that I have to now allow in. There's things that I have to give up, and there's things that I have to allow in. And sometimes we do a lot of giving away, maybe, but we don't let in. Give it up, give it up, give it up. All right, I gave it all up. But then, come in. And so I felt like one of the things, because I think we talk a lot about giving things up, you know? And we have to continue to do that. But then we also have to let him in. Let love in. Right? And so in the Song of Solomon, she is saying, in chapter 4, verse 15, it says, "Awake, north wind, come, south wind, blow on my garden to spread its fragrance. Let my darling enter his garden and eat its finest fruits." Who is this garden? It's us. It's the bride. Let my darling, let the bridegroom in. Let him, like the song says, blow through the caverns of my soul. Something, something, an overflow. And so as we are giving ourselves away in exchange, he's wanting to come in and fill and fill and fill and fill and fill. And so that place of rest is that place where we get to constantly do that exchange of, I give myself away and you give me you. I give myself away and you give me you. I give myself to you, better yet. I give myself to you and you give yourself to me. It's a dance. And a lot of times the dance is real one-sided. And so he wants us to be able to dance with him, right? Waltz together, right? One thing that the bride and the groom do at the wedding, they have a special dance. And so he's inviting us into that. Now, are y'all getting this? Yes? Okay. So, number one, you have the rest of intimacy, right? The rest of communion. I need that place. We need that place as a bride. We have to be able to set time aside to just be with him and dine. A lot of issues when it comes to commitment and issues that happen as a result of the lack of intimacy. Right? So the more that we lack intimacy, the more that we will see like issues begin to arise. So that's part one. But then the other part of it is John, never mind, I'm not going there. One of the things that the Lord has said to me was that Jesus is coming to walk in the garden. I've been on this message about being in Eden and being in the garden. And that garden is the place, again, of intimacy. And he's walking through the garden. And he's looking for space in his bride, in the garden of his bride. Space in the garden of his bride. To be able to fill with all of who he is. And then I began to hear the song over and over again. I'm after your heart. 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 Not that we would just say yes, but that we would actually let him in. Not that we would just say yes, but that we would actually let him in. Revelation chapter 3, verse 20 says, "Here I am standing at the door knocking. If someone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and eat with him, and he will eat with me." Here, I'm standing at the door knocking. If someone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and eat with him, and he will eat with me. Here, I'm standing at your door knocking. If you would hear my voice and open the door, I will come into you and eat with you, and you will eat with me. And that's what he's saying to his beloved, to his bride, right? We don't just want to run towards the marriage and never commune with him. We never just want to run and like all the different churches. I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this. But then I didn't commune. I didn't step into friendship with you. I did not come closer to let me just be with you. Not for anything else, but to just be with you. Just to be with you. Just to be with you. How I love to be with you. And even as I was reading through Song of Solomon chapter 1, I noticed something. Because she says, "Tell me, my love, where you pasture your flock, where you have them rest at noon. For why should I veil myself like a prostitute beside the flocks of your friends?" And if you jump down to verse 9, then it begins this exchange. He says, my love, I compare you with my mirror, pulling one of Pharaoh's chariots. Your cheeks are lovely with ornaments, your neck with its strings of beads. We will make you ornaments of gold studded with silver. And she says, as the king reclines at the table, my nard gives forth its perfume. To me, the man I love is a sachet of myrrh. And even as they keep going, it's like he's saying something and she's saying something. And he's saying something and she's saying something. And it's this back and forth love exchange. And he's looking for love exchange. He's looking for love exchange. Oh, that we would give ourselves to him and that we would allow him to give himself back to us. A beautiful exchange. And we thank you for this beautiful exchange that you invite us into as your bride. And even right now, I'm being reminded of the Lord's Prayer where it says, give us this day our daily bread. And I hear the Lord saying it's not just a once a week type of thing, but it's a daily exchange. And so, God, we thank you for this invitation to come deeper into a daily exchange with you. I am my beloved's and he is mine. 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 And the Lord also said that he's after our hearts. And even as he's after our hearts, he's after the harvest that is inside of us. And so there's a double. He's after us. He's after our hearts. He's after us. And he's after the fruit. He's after the harvest that is on the inside of us. Right? And we know even from the natural that there is no harvest without the exchange first. Right? Even in a relationship, a husband and a wife, there has to be the coming together first, the intimacy first, before a harvest could ever appear. And so even as he's after our hearts, he's after the harvest that is on the inside of us. There would be more and more and more and more and more until there's gardens everywhere filled with this love exchange between us and him. A whole garden of love. And so, Father, again, we thank you for this love exchange. And even right now, we just open our hearts to you. Not just for you to just take things away, but so that we can have you. God, I thank you that you are placing Eden within our hearts. Holy Spirit, we ask you to come. Come, Holy Spirit, come. Fill us with you. Fill us in this place of intimacy. Fill us in this place of communion. Holy Spirit, we thank you that even in this place of communion, that this is a place where there's nothing missing and there's nothing broken. Thank you that this is the place of complete shalom. And I just see different areas that even as he comes in, that he's just bringing restoration. Thank you, Holy Spirit, that you come with your breath. receive it. Just receive. message, and you guys can just keep receiving. And when you're ready, you can give an offering. But I'm just going to read this. Psalm 23. Adonai is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He has me lie down in grassy pastures, in green pastures. He leads me by quiet waters. He restores my inner person. He guides me in right paths for the sake of his own name. Even if I pass through dark ravines, I will fear no disaster, for you are with me. Your rod and staff reassure me. You prepare a table for me, even as my enemies watch. You anoint my head with oil from an overflowing cup. Goodness and grace will pursue me every day of my life, and I will live in the house of Adonai forever. Goodness and grace will pursue me every day of my life, and I will live in the house of Adonai forever. We thank you for goodness and grace. Coming and pouring in. Goodness and grace. Goodness and mercy. Goodness and mercy. Your goodness. Your goodness. Your goodness. Your goodness. Thank you that as you fill us with yourself, you fill us with your goodness. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We thank you that even as you lead us to your pasture, you lead us to your goodness, and you lead us to your mercy. You lead us to your love. So we're going to sow into Psalm 23. That we would abide and rest with our lover.